छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Time now for the nation's sharpest opinion, and a comment made by the Prime Minister is very intriguing. The comment where he said it's Swadeshi first. This comment, in my view, has got underreported today. Now, there's a lot of thought behind what the Prime Minister said. I want to put it in perspective first. What is the Prime Minister saying? The Prime Minister is saying that, and I'll say this in Hindi, व्यापारियों को शपथ दिलवाए आप विदेश माल नहीं बेचेंगे, लेकिन दुर्भाग्य देखिए कि गणेश जी भी विदेश से आते हैं. So he said, make all traders, all businessmen, swear that they will not be selling foreign goods. But he said it's so unfortunate that even idols of Lord Ganesh are made in foreign countries. His reference is, of course, to images or idols of Lord Ganesh that are made in China, I think. And that's, can I just hear the bite before I move on? Let's play this.
हम गांव-गांव व्यापारियों को शपथ दिलवाएं, व्यापारियों का कितना ही मुनाफा क्यों ना हो, आप विदेशी माल नहीं बेचोगे. लेकिन दुर्भाग्य देखिए, गणेश जी भी विदेश से आ जाते हैं. छोटी आंख वाले गणेश जी आएंगे. गणेश जी की आंख भी नहीं खुल रही है. होली रंग छिड़कना है, बोले विदेशी. सचमुच में ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के लिए एक नागरिक के नाते मुझे एक काम करना है. आप घर में जाकर सूची बनाइए कि आपके घर में 24 घंटे में सुबह से दूसरे दिन सुबह तक कितनी विदेशी चीजों का उपयोग होता है. आपको पता ही नहीं होता है. आप हेयर पिन भी विदेशी उपयोग कर लेते हैं, कंघा भी विदेशी होता है, दांत में लगाने वाली जो पिन होती है वो भी विदेशी घुस गई है, हमें मालूम तक नहीं है.
There's a deeper point the Prime Minister is making. He says toothpicks, combs, even hairpins are now all foreign made, and we are not aware of this. What the Prime Minister is trying to increase is the awareness level among people that you can do these things in India, you can manufacture these items in India, and you can sell them and you can buy them. You've got to be conscious about it. He's making a larger point. You see, in the aftermath of Pahalgam, Operation Sindoor, the global trade negotiations, everything that's happening around the world, it's very clear that it's not just the size of our economy that is important, it's also the self-reliance of our economy, which has been a motto for Prime Minister Modi, Atmanirbhar Bharat. He's basically trying to say you've got to be very resilient about trying to create a situation where Indians use Indian products. And what's wrong with that? There was another soundbite, I don't know if you have it, where he says that by 2047, he sets a goal. And he says it's very important that in 2047 or by 2047, when we complete 100 years of independence, that we will not be using foreign items. Obviously, he's not talking of a total boycott, but what he's talking about is a realization among people in India that when you have Indian alternatives, you should choose Indian products. Is that soundbite there, please? Let's play it.
हमें अपनी ब्रांड पे गर्व होना चाहिए, मेड इन इंडिया पर गर्व होना चाहिए. तत्काल भारत की इकोनॉमी को 4 नंबर से 3 नंबर पर ले जाने के लिए अब हम कोई विदेशी चीज का उपयोग नहीं करेंगे. ऑपरेशन सिंदूर सैन्य बल से नहीं, जनबल से जीतना है दोस्तों. और जनबल आता है मातृभूमि की मिट्टी में पैदा हुई हर पैदावार से आता है. इस मिट्टी की जिसमें सुगंध हो, इस देश के नागरिक के पसीने की जिसमें सुगंध हो, उन चीजों का मैं इस्तेमाल करूंगा। अगर मैं ऑपरेशन सिंदूर को जन जन तक, घर घर तक लेके जाता हूं, आप देखिए हिंदुस्तान को 2047 के पहले विकसित राष्ट्र बना के रहेंगे और अपनी आंखों के सामने देख के जाएंगे। दोस्तों, इसी एक अपेक्षा के साथ मेरे साथ पूरी ताकत से बोलिए भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की।
Now, there will be some cynics tonight, and that's the main subject of my debate, who will say that this is not possible. To them, I would like to start by putting 3 statistics. First of all, there is nothing that is impossible. If you start from a premise that it's impossible, it will be seen to be impossible. It is not impossible for India to be a productive economy that is among the top 3 in the world, and it's not just a market, but a manufacturing base, a very strong manufacturing base. Not just a place where it's a market where people consume, but where they create from the most complex to the simplest of things and consume them. 3 statistics. 1, would you believe it, that our smartphone exports rose by 42% in 23-24, that we reached almost 16 billion from 11 billion the year before, and we become the 4th largest export item. Smartphones are India's 4th largest export item. Would you believe this 10 years back? You wouldn't. Well, it's happened, so nothing is impossible. Second point tonight. We today produce 65% of our defense equipment domestically. Would you believe it? 10 years back, that time we were 70% dependent on imports in the defense sector. Would you believe it, that we've achieved that level of indigenization 10 years back? Probably you wouldn't. Have we done it? We have, so nothing's impossible. That's why I totally support the Prime Minister's philosophy, and I am putting this hashtag out saying Swadeshi first. I'm not saying boycott foreign goods, but I'm saying Swadeshi first, nation first. Ladies and gentlemen, the third point is this: whether we want to accept it or not, by 25-26, we will hit the $1 trillion mark in our exports. Doesn't matter what Trump says or does or tries to threaten us. The man's got a $36 trillion debt. We have a $1 trillion yearly export base. That makes us a huge global exporter. When we have achieved these things, the only thing we need to do is have a target, have an approach. And that's why this hashtag tonight, and that's why this debate, after a quick report.
हमें अपनी ब्रांड पे गर्व होना चाहिए, मेड इन इंडिया पर गर्व होना चाहिए। तत्काल भारत की इकोनॉमी को 4 नंबर से 3 नंबर पर ले जाने के लिए अब हम कोई विदेशी चीज का उपयोग नहीं करेंगे। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर सैन्य बल से नहीं, जनबल से जीतना है दोस्तों, और जनबल आता है मातृभूमि की मिट्टी में पैदा हुई हर पैदावार से आता है। इस मिट्टी की जिसमें सुगंध हो, इस देश के नागरिक के पसीने की जिसमें सुगंध हो, उन चीजों का मैं इस्तेमाल करूंगा। अगर मैं ऑपरेशन सिंदूर को जन जन तक, घर घर तक लेके जाता हूं, आप देखिए हिंदुस्तान को 2047 के पहले विकसित राष्ट्र बना के रहेंगे और अपनी आंखों के सामने देख के जाएंगे। दोस्तों, इसी एक अपेक्षा के साथ मेरे साथ पूरी ताकत से बोलिए भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की।
From the capital of Gujarat, Prime Minister Modi has given Swadeshi mantra to 140 crore Indians. The pledge for Swadeshi is the roadmap for a victorious nation.
जिस दिन भारत स्वदेशी का प्रयोग करने लग जाएगा, भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था मजबूत होगी और रुपए की कीमत डॉलर, पाउंड और यूरो के मुकाबले हमारी अच्छी होगी।
The vocal for local pitch was welcomed by the people of Bharat.
आपका फैब्रिक और कपड़े का एक बड़ा काम है सर, क्या आप कोई चाइनीज प्रोडक्ट रखते हैं? नहीं, हम तो इंडियन प्रोडक्ट हैं। तो मोदी जी उनका कहना है मेक इन इंडिया है कि प्रोडक्ट को प्रमोट करें, तो आप लोग क्या लगता है चाइना के जो सामान उनको बाइकआउट करना चाहिए? बाइकआउट करते मोदी जी के बाइकआउट करते तो क्या विदेश के सामान को इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए? नहीं, स्वदेश सामान बढ़ा देना चाहिए, विदेश नहीं।
India's defense sector is the biggest Make in India success story. We are not only producing defense equipment domestically, but we are also exporting it to the world.
there is a basis to Prime Minister's confidence when it comes to Make in India in the defense sector. Over the last 10 years, defense exports have increased by 10 times from just about $200 million in 2014 to over $2 billion now. Today, India is manufacturing many of the components which were earlier procured from outside, with almost 70% of defense purchases by the Ministry of Defense and the armed forces coming in internally. That is the reason why Prime Minister believes that now the time has come to take defense manufacturing in India to the next level.
Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has given nod to the push for India's 5th generation deep penetration advanced medium combat aircraft for the Indian Air Force. It's not a one-time slogan, but a long-term commitment for the Prime Minister.
जब ईश्वर बना रहा है तो जोड़ा अपने जीवन की यात्रा उस ईश्वर के चरणों में आने के बजाय विदेश में जाकर के क्यों करता है? और मैं तो चाहता हूं मेरे देश के नौजवानों को मेक इन इंडिया जैसे है ना, वैसे ही एक मूवमेंट चलना चाहिए, मेड इन इंडिया। शादी हिंदुस्तान में करो। ये दुनिया के देशों में शादी कर ले, ये हमारे सारे धन्ना सेठ आजकल फैशन हो गई है।
Make in India is a mantra which can give us a definitive upper hand against terror backers like China, Turkey and Azerbaijan. Give up the foreign-made goods, make a conscious effort to use Swadeshi products and believe in the brand Bharat is the need of the hour.
No, it's an idea. Swadeshi first. Nobody is going to be against it. Some people will say it's unrealistic. I don't think it's unrealistic. It depends on what you set as the borders of your imagination. Ajay Alok, Ajay Bagga and Dr. Ashwini Mahajan are on one side. Dr. Ashwini Mahajan is co-convener nationally of the Swadeshi Jagran Manch. Ajay Alok is the BJP spokesperson. Ajay Bagga is a very well-known voice of the business community in our country. Market expert, understands macroeconomics perfectly. Santosh Mehrotra is critical of the government on most issues. He's visiting professor at the University of Bath in UK. Ramesh Sabharwal is a Congress leader, and Rajat Sethi on this side, I think, is critical of the government's position or the Prime Minister's position. Thank you very much. He's an analyst. Now, I want to start with Ajay and then Santosh Mehrotra and take it forward. Santosh Mehrotra, I want to start with you here. You see, it's such a great idea. And we can't be just a market for the world. We need to do things that radically make a difference, that reduce our dependence on the rest of the world, right? And I think the question isn't about a Swadeshi form of economics. You just need to read what Trump is doing with Apple, saying that I will put tariffs on you if you produce in India. And it's easy to do it. What the Prime Minister said is we don't need to import toothpicks and hairpins from China. If there's a technology issue, it's something else. But I think we need to shift the focus from what the government does to what Indian enterprise can do. And I would support that call entirely. Santosh Mehrotra, would you start with your first responses to this issue?
Absolutely, I agree with you entirely with every word that you've just said, and I agree with every word that the PM has said, actually. Of course we can do it, and we could have done it all these last 11 years. And I'm really pleased that in defense production we made significant progress. So let's, of course, celebrate what has been achieved, but it's obviously a matter of some sadness that the PM, after being in power for 11 years, is still regretting that we are importing our Ganesh Jis and Lakshmi Jis and our Diwali lights and even our holy colors. So let's just look at the evolution of India's industrial policy. And I have to say, with great regret that in the last 35 years, India has not had an industrial policy. We had an industrial policy statement in 1991, and since then, unfortunately, Arnab, we have not had a horizontal and a comprehensive industrial policy, which should have been combined with an employment policy. And had that happened in the last 35 years, I think our economy would be in a very different place. So let's just remind ourselves, firstly, that we still do not have an industrial policy. Make in India is, with all due respect, not an industrial policy. I can give you the facts on that as to what has in fact happened. So it's a good thing that the PM is recognizing this, but let's just remind the entire government and our panel here that manufacturing as a contribution to GDP constituted something like 17% for a 25-year period after the economic reforms began in 1991. And they actually fell for several years in absolute terms. Merchandise goods exports actually fell from their value in 2014 of $318 billion. Not talking about services. Please note what I'm saying. From $318 billion over the next 5 years, it fell to $265 billion, despite all the talk being about Make in India. Then, of course, came along PLI, and it seems quite clearly that PLI is also already on its way out. And the fact of the matter is, manufacturing contribution to GDP has fallen from 17 to 16 to 15 to 14 to 13% of GDP. At the same time, manufacturing employment has fallen. So, kudos to the PM, kudos to you, Arnab, that all these facts should be recognized. It's a good thing that, Samsung and Apple are assembling phones here. Let us not kid ourselves. Yes, our exports have grown. Yes, I agree with you. It's a good thing. But the fact of the matter, Arnab, with all due respect, both to you and to the PM, is that had we continued to increase our merchandise exports at the 15 to 18% growth rate that they had been growing for about 25 years after the economic reforms, we could have been at exports to GDP ratio of 30%. We are nowhere close to that. We are at 20%. And please note that we do need to get our merchandise goods exports. It's just that our services exports have held up. And it's a very good news that our services exports have held up. So the point is, if we took our exports to GDP from 10 or 11% in 92 to 25% as it stood in 2008, and it's now down to below 20%, that's got to do with policies. Policies and MSMEs have been systematically destroyed, and I hope you'll give me a chance to come back to that subject.
I will. Dr. Mehrotra, I just want to bring in Ajay. I want to bring in Dr. Ashwini Mahajan in on this. I tend to disagree with you on the point that you made thrice on merchandise exports, because you are fully aware that I also have data, sir. I have data. Sir, I have data also, and you are fully aware that our merchandise exports have seen steady growth. They have reached 252.28 billion. I think that's a higher number than 244.51 billion in the previous financial year. And what does this show? This shows that we are fairly strong and resilient. Right? We can obviously do better, but I would not allow you to get away with that number presentation that you did. And don't get angry with me, because I am a very well-informed anchor, maybe the best on Indian television. And Ajay Bagga will respond to you because he's the best.
Self-praise is no praise, brother.
So I know that, sir, but what can I do, sir? What can I do, sir? Since you don't praise me, I have to praise myself. I will let Ajay Bagga respond to that. See, we are all working for the country. I believe that we need to obviously do better. I just want a difference in perspectives on both sides. Ajay, you heard Dr. Mehrotra's introductory comments.
Yeah, the respected professor, sir, has given very good points. And I think all Indians are very united on this laudable objective. I think none of us has any issue with this objective. We need to do this. And second thing is, Arnab, if we look at our $4 trillion economy today, where are we on a historical map? We are the US of 1985. So we are 40 years behind as far as the US is concerned. We are China of 2007. We are Germany of 2021. And Japan, which we have just overtaken, first hit $4 trillion in 1993. Then they had all the asset bubble and all those issues. And after 31 years, they are still back at 4 trillion after crossing 6 trillion. So we've done very well. China has done better. They started in 79 with their reforms. We started in 91. They had more than 15% growth between 1990 to 2010. Now, as we are arising and awakening as a nation, when we grow, Arnab, there's a China sitting there, there's a Mexico there, there's a Vietnam, there are sundry other countries. When China grew, when it came into WTO in 2001, there was no China. So they hollowed out the Western economies. The British have forgotten how to build ships. The Americans don't have shipbuilding prowess. They make 5 ships a year now from where China makes 280 ships. And you take it from product to product. Steel making, China is making 50% steel of the world now. How did they do it? Massive amount of debt, massive amount of leverage, massive pollution, not possible in a democracy. So we won't be able to do what they have done in the last 17 years. If we say that we are China of 2007, will in the next 18 years will we reach $18 trillion? Difficult, because there is a China in the room. What we can do, definitely we are going to do, is look at very focused way, where are our competitive advantages. Also, we need 30, 40 free trade agreements across the world. We have to export into Africa, we have to export into Latin America, we have to export into other areas where China is dominant. Today, Arnab, even if Trump wants to put a tariff on China, 73% countries trade more with China than with the US. 53% countries in the world do 2x trade with China versus what they do with the US. That's the dominance China has taken. And as your last segment you saw, they are very ruthless. They don't have any respect for the rule of law. They will do anything to stay ahead. So it's a tough task for us, but it can be done. Comparing PLI, what respected Professor Sir mentioned, the PLI, we were very small in PLI and the results have been spectacular. China, I'll give you an example. Last year, their PLI was $152 billion. It's a multiple of India by about 20 times. That's the kind of money they spend. So phone makers in China are making cars, battery makers are making cars, and they are out-competing the European car makers. That is the kind of stuff they've done. We have to follow some of that model. Anyone wants to enter our market, we have to say, bring in the technology, set up a factory, and most welcome to our market, transfer the technology to India, and most welcome. That's what China did. Those strategies have to be very clear. And the consumer goods that we opened for China in the first decade of 2000, those have to be stopped. So we have a gap of $100 billion with China. That needs to be addressed very urgently, because they are killing our industry.
It's possible to do that. I don't want Ramesh Sabharwal to overreact to what I'm saying when he go into the political debate with Ajay Alok. But Ramesh Sabharwal ji, when Congress Party jab power mein thi, when Congress Party was in power, you created a situation where if a baby is born in India and he goes to a toy shop, he's going to buy a Chinese toy. आपके समय में जो खिलौने भी थे सब चाइनीज थे. आप नहीं, इट्स अ रियलिटी. यू सी, आपको मजाक लग रहा है. इट्स नॉट अजय. यू नो, we used to import $214 million of Chinese toys. Today that number is down to 40 million. It should go to zero. There are 15,000 units producing toys worth thousands of crore of rupees. problem with don't. The problem is that you must believe in Swadeshi first. You're thinking, sir. Sir, from toys to Bofors, sir, from toys to defense, everything was foreign in Congress party time. Sir,
please listen to me.
I'm listening to you, but don't take a politically anti position क्योंकि लेना
We are
पड़ता है.
working. This country, no. This country is working since 1947 under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi and Nehru ji. Then we got a leadership of Shastri ji, Indira ji, and Rajiv ji, and Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Mahatma Gandhi ji never ran the government.
We got the independence. We are working since 1940.
Mahatma Gandhi has not run the government.
Sir,
you will now tell Mahatma Gandhi has run the government.
He was Congress president or not? He was father of the nation or not? Sir, he was father of the nation, sir.
These are all matters of perspective.
He was Congress president.
I feel it all matters of perspective. Come to the issue, no? The issue is what the Prime Minister has said today.
Swadeshi movement. Mahatma Gandhi ji and Congress party started the Swadeshi movement.
Then why did you give it up?
All of us were working very hard since 1947. Listen to me. Please listen to me. When you were born in your house, your parents gave you a foundation, you know. Then you become elder. We gave a foundation to this country. The Congress party has given their blood to the country. We gave the foundations. We have done so much for this country, but you only want to show that ना बड़ा बच्चा हो गया है, घर में बड़ा हो गया, अब उसके दांत जो भी वो कर रहा है, वो अपने आप कर रहा है. ऐसा नहीं होता. हर व्यक्ति, the whole nation works, whole technology works. It's a question of time. हमने भी काम किया है. 1947 से काम कर रहे हैं. Foundations अच्छे हमने बनाए हैं. The results are coming. We should feel that we should grow more and more. The country should prosper more and more. Why every time in every debate you people criticize my party? What fault we have done it?
Many.
China के समान रुकने चाहिए. हम चाहते हैं. The Prime Minister should stop China. If he can do, we will support him. The China के जो goods आते हैं हमें रोकने चाहिए. We should try to stop that. I agree with the other panelists, you know, but they were saying to that.
Sir, I'll give you one example. I'll give you one example. There was a. Sir, I'll give you one example. एक मिनट. देखिए sir, आपको सच्चाई माननी पड़ेगी. Because of you, हमारी indigenous pharmaceutical and drug industry collapsed. आपने liberalization की, और हमारे यहाँ even paracetamol बनाने वाले companies, even companies that made condoms, were all removed and replaced by Chinese. In 1992-93, if you don't believe me, ask Santosh Mehrotra. What happened to Indian Drugs and Pharmaceuticals Limited? You just allowed cheap Chinese drugs to take over the country. आपको ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए था. आप पैरासिटामोल जैसे लेके खिलौने सब कुछ आपने चाइनीज करवा दी. अब मैं अगर आपको पूछूं कि वो तस्वीर है जिसमें राहुल गांधी एक एग्रीमेंट साइन कर रहे हैं जी जिनपिंग के साथ, एक तस्वीर है, there is a photo in which there is some agreement with Xi Jinping.
And PV Narasimha.
No, what is there in that agreement?
And Mr. Chidambaram credibility at that time. I don't agree.
No, but
Inder Khanna was Commerce Secretary at that time.
Sir, you may quote anyone.
Honest at that time.
I'm saying that you did not have this approach.
Dr. Manmohan Singh ji was the finance minister at that time.
So what do I do? If
Manmohan
Singh was the finance minister, what am I supposed to do?
But Dr. Manmohan Singh can also make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. Manmohan Singh can also make mistakes. Tell him that.
No, every man can do a mistake. We are not gods. Every human being can make a mistake. We are not God.
I'm sorry, not at the cost of the nation.
Yeah, not at the cost of the nation. That's the point. I'm making.
Sir, we are for the nation. We are for the nation.
Sir, I started by saying, okay, Ajay Alok will respond. Ajay Alok of the BJP is on the debate responding tonight. The debate is becoming a little hotter. The debate is becoming hotter, and to add more hotness into the debate, I have Ajay Alok.
Which BJP leader fought against Britishers?
Which nation? Come on, sir.
I'll answer in two parts, Arnab. First, I would like to remind the Honorable, the professor who was mentioning about India's GDP and all.
Santosh
that when Narendra Modi started, the GDP was at 2 trillion. In 2021, it became 3 trillion. And 2025, it is 4.17 trillion, becoming the fourth largest economy. Though you're right that manufacturing.
But it's not the fourth largest. The IMF has refuted you.
But in spite of 12%, please listen. I didn't interfere in between.
नहीं आप बोलिए सर आप तो गलत बात बोल रहे हैं
at the recent function in April, please don't interfere. I'm coming to you one by one. In April, Hoover Institute, Stanford University, our finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that we have identified sunrise sectors in the economy where we are going to push manufacturing, like semiconductor, medical devices, leather industry, textile industry, and we plan to take it to 25% of the GDP's contribution in manufacturing by 2032. So this is the plan. This is how we go, that in spite of low manufacturing, the GDP is increasing. Second thing, with more than 2 lakh startups and more than almost 10,000 unicorn in the country, I think we are doing fairly good enough. So let's be optimistic about it. Let's not be pessimistic. Now coming back to Mahatma Gandhi, though he never ruled the country, but he was the first leader who opted for Swadeshi movement by introduction of Khadi. He used to do everything. And after Mahatma Gandhi, if any one leader who has pushed for Swadeshi movement so fiercely, it's only the Prime Minister Modi. You have to acknowledge it. Now, why we say make in India for the last 10 years? Why this concept was not there? Who stopped? Nobody stopped any government for doing make it in India. I mean, we did the nuclear explosion way back in 1974, but still we used to import weapons. Even a Glock pistol we used to import. Why? Didn't we have the capacity? How we are manufacturing today? How our defense exports are growing today? That's the will and that's the policy and that's how you act. And as far as Congress party goes, let me tell you, as far as the Congress party goes, till 1991, India was a closed economy, closed country. They used to call it Hindu economy, if you remember. The Western used to call us Hindu side of economy. Now see the colors of Hindu economy. How does it change? I agree, liberalization 1991, it opened the floodgates for India, but we couldn't capitalize because we were still Hindu economy. The GDP rate was 2 to 3%. Nobody used to talk about rate of GDP and the rate of growth. Today we are thinking in terms of becoming third largest economy. Today we are thinking in terms of increasing our export, increasing our manufacturing. Now this is a different color of Hindu economy. So be proud of Hindu economy and let's be optimistic about it. Congress culture, it was only a license raj. Few used to flourish. All about importing things. Never gave a thought about exporting things. Nobody stopped China and nobody stopped India also.
On an aside, I want to say, next time you go, next time आपको सेब खरीदने हो, रमेश सबरवाल, आप पूछिए, ये सेब क्या टर्की से है? Is this a Turkish apple?
शिमला के
नहीं आप पूछिए क्यों आपकी पार्टी ने अभी तक बताया नहीं whether you have an office in Turkey. Do you have an office in Turkey? Do you have an office in Turkey?
Shimla.
Do you have an office in Turkey?
Kashmir.
Do you have an office in Turkey?
Yes, they have.
Do you have an office in Turkey? Do you have?
We are not having any office, sir.
Do they have an agreement with China?
No. Indian Overseas.
Do they have an agreement with PLA in China?
हमारा कोई भी.
No, I'm very curious to get the views of Dr. Ashwini Mahajan and 1 minute. We are it's a serious debate. It's a serious debate. It's a serious debate. The Prime Minister has given an idea. I want Rajat Sethi and Ashwini Mahajan to debate this. Dr. Ashwini Mahajan, do you think it's possible not to use any foreign goods? तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है कि हमें जो व्यापारी हैं वो शपथ दिलवाए, व्यापारियों को शपथ दिलवाए आप विदेशी माल नहीं बेचेंगे. क्या ये संभव है? Is it possible to do that? क्योंकि व्यापारी तो सिर्फ मुनाफे की बात कहेंगे. वो कहेंगे अगर फॉरेन माल बेच के हमको हमारा मुनाफा ज्यादा हो रहा है या हमारे सेल्स बढ़ रही हैं, तो this is a very good idea, but it's difficult to implement.
I think it's absolutely possible. Just a week ago, there was a program in Delhi with CAT and other organizations. And traders actually took the oath of not selling the Chinese products, Turkish products, and other foreign products.
Within this window.
So this had happened
Not this.
In the presence of Smriti Irani ji. And Praveen Khandelwal ji was also there. And Swadeshi Jagan Manch and CAT had organized that meeting. So this is absolutely possible. And if traders so decide, it can happen. Now coming to whether it is actually possible to use only Swadeshi goods, we have seen, you have only mentioned that we were importing a lot of toys, now we are exporting them. We were importing smartphones, now we are exporting them. We had been importing defense goods to a great extent, about 70% of our defense requirements were met by the foreign products. Now 65% are being met. And in Operation Sindoor, we have proved beyond doubt that only our Swadeshi-made arms could hit the Pakistan at the point. We destroyed their terrorist launch pads. We didn't allow any of the drones made by Turkey and by China to touch our land. We had proven beyond doubt that we have a air defense system which is comparable to any other nation. And I tell you, all these nations, Western nations and US, those who had been giving ear to the Russia-Ukraine war, suddenly got scared. Oh, we need peace. They don't see peace there. They needed peace between Pakistan and India for the simple reason that our arms were being proved beyond doubt. Our Akash, our BrahMos, our air defense system, our anti-drone system had been proven beyond doubt. Now, coming to other points. You asked whether it is possible. Yes, we can. We can produce all electronic goods. We can produce telecom. Those who were saying that, oh, there is no comparable option available to us vis-a-vis Huawei's 5G. We produce our own 5Gi. We have shown to the world that digitization is India's strength. And now the whole world is looking at us. They want our UPI. Sometime back, even Sri Lankan President Special Envoy, he approached us, Swadeshi Dragon Munch. Yes, if you can replicate our digitalization experience in Sri Lanka, and several other countries are hoping to do so. Now, look at anything. We can produce anything in the world. I tell you, during Nehruji's time, they also said Swadeshi. But I think they defamed Swadeshi by not producing the competitive products. Today, what we are doing is, we are producing competitive products, whether it is toys or defense products, whether it is electronics or telecom. We are producing competitive products. And this is something which we can sell to the world. So this is what Pakistan, this is what Prime Minister's dream is: make in India for the world.
So we talk about competing with China, Rajat, and yet we must understand China's policy. China is open to investment from the world. It's not closed itself to foreign brands, but it has put certain firewalls which make it difficult for others to get into areas where you have a Chinese alternative. Typical example is social media. In India, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, we are only using American social media, digital media, deep tech companies with their servers all outside India. And I think the idea of the Prime Minister is a big idea. Why should Indians buy foreign combs, hairpins, dryers, diyas, Ganesh idols, furniture, cosmetics, Coca-Cola? It's a very clear idea. Why? I think we can't dismiss the power of the idea. It's got everyone thinking, and there is resilience means you're strategically, geostrategically impenetrable in a time of crisis, like we saw during COVID, during Ukraine. Rajat, your take.
So Arnab, when your guest coordination reached out to me, and I said that it's not as black and white as a TV discussion might want to make it out. It is much more nuanced, and the devil, like always, lies in the detail. In around 2020, when the Galwan crisis had unfolded, I was on a similar debate sitting with you. I said, till we do not have the market's invisible hands under our control, no matter how much nationalistic debates we have, it is not going to result into anything. Look at the debates. Look at the import that we had from China in 2020. It was around $60 billion. Today, the imports that are coming from China into India is $120 billion. Within 4 years, it has doubled. That is the level of dependency which is increasing and increasing. While we talk about iPhones being assembled here, look at the fundamental building blocks of those iPhones. Every single thing is still getting imported from outside. So let's understand what can we do. And this is why I want to go back to David Ricardo's principles when he said, and he talked about comparative advantage. You need to ensure that you have decisive comparative advantage on certain things. Once you achieve absolute world dominance on those things, other things will also follow. So it's not an either-or question. The real question is
was the competitive advantage established? Sorry, just to counter you briefly, I'm coming back to you only. Did Manmohan Singh think about a competitive advantage when he opened the floodgates to China in 1992?
See,
did he say Indian industry must have a competitive advantage?
Congress party missed the decisive manufacturing bus back in 2000s decade, the first decade of this millennia. They missed that bus right there. And then we are only doing a catch-up game. And there is so much that we can do. Tell me today, Arnab, is capital a scarce commodity or is it abundant today?
No, I'll answer that, but I'll ask you again. I'm coming back to you on this because... And I'm coming back to you, I'm asking you a counter question. You are right that our imports were 60 billion and now we have a trade imbalance of between 90 to 100 billion, which is really unfortunate. But my question to you is, who is importing from China? What is the responsibility of all those people? It's not Narendra Modi who's importing from China. There are people who are saying, for me, profit matters more than national interest.
This is the private sector problem. This is not a government intense problem. My problem is the biggest corporates, the biggest ones who are selling even military equipment to our forces are still assembling and bringing in all the building blocks from China.
Good.
I can assure you, I can go line item by line item, look at Vajra shots. The exact article, you don't even remove the embossing on the stickers. You slap a sticker on India and just try and sell it to Indian defenses.
No, let me ask you this. For example, there are many people, many Indian entrepreneurs who simply do branding in India but import cheap Chinese electronic items, brand it in India, get valued by the Americans. So the import is from China, the investment is from America, you slap an Indian brand and you spend 20 crore rupees in marketing and position yourself as an Indian entrepreneur. How fair is that?
This is the exact problem.
So that's what the Prime Minister is reminding them of. The Prime Minister is reminding industry.
Our private sector is not ready to walk the talk. Today, Prime Minister is giving an appeal. The similar appeal was given in 2020 also. What has this private sector and these Vyapari people, the businessmen people done? They have imported more and more and more and they'll continue to do that.
But he's also reminded the families. He's also reminded the families who are the consumers, right, Ajay? He has said, what about families at home? What are you buying? He's also put the responsibility on the citizen.
No, absolutely. And I would agree with Rajat. Right. I think the option has to be that there should be such huge tariffs on anything coming from China that it does not make sense. But today, electronics, you look at solar panel guys, Arnab, they are getting Chinese panels, putting their name on it and exporting to the US. There is a lot of transshipment happening in India. That's why the government is allowing that 100 billion to come in. Electronics, we are value adding about 20%. It's not that 0% when in the electronics that we are making. It has to go up. We are setting up the factories. Tatas are setting up factories. We are setting up factories to make parts of that. But a lot of the goods are just transshipped. So there might be domestic consumption or they are transshipped to other countries. Now to fight that, you will have to have a well thought out strategy, product by product. It can't be a heavy-handed thing that Trump can do with a $900 billion military expenditure. Trump can do. We can't do that. Today you want to buy a PC, there are no personal computers made in India. So you have to go back to either a Malaysian, which is again a transshipped. The Japanese have stopped making.
But then we have to, what should the government do there? I mean, what can the government do? We talk about the entrepreneurial spirit.
You need in-depth strategies. You need PLI by industry.
How
the
much
private sector
PLI is scarce commodity. It is taxpayers' money. How many industries should a taxpayer money come out and subsidize, sir? That's an impractical road. We have to only give PLI to certain strategic sectors where we cannot have dependency. Defense is one sector, maybe pharma is another sector. Now, you cannot pick everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just jumped in. Can I finish? You didn't allow me to finish. Yeah.
So this is the second
See,
time
I'll give you a small example. Will you let me finish or you talk first? I'll wait for you. No problem. Can I finish?
Yeah, go on, Ajay.
If you examine what China has done, Arnab, in 1962, when we had the war, we were $5 billion less than them on GDP. They were 47, we were 42. Come 79, we were fallen 100 billion behind. 91, we were 125 billion behind China. Not very big. We could have made up. Now we are $14 trillion behind. How do you take on a monster which has no cost of capital, which has infinite resources? The banks, NPS, nobody knows. When the rating agencies try to rate the banks, they throw the rating agencies out of the country, set up their own rating agencies. Your private industry is doing that. You don't want to give it to the private sector, set up public sector units to do that. But somewhere, like you have done on 5G equipment, you have to identify and do that. Electronics remains a $128 billion of import for us. So I don't see why it's not strategic. Every router, every TP-Link router you're using, Arnab, it has an embedded hardware in it, which sends data back to.
Maybe you can have an index whereby you can reflect while the sale of a product the level of indigenization of the product or the level of Swadeshi percentage of the product. I'm just saying, I'm suggesting ideas, but I think at the bottom of it, Santosh Mehrotra, is that we can talk about all this. I believe a national spirit makes a difference. We've been through a war. We've been through a conflict. China has helped Pakistan. Turkey, exports 100 million of only apples to us. We need to take a national approach. What is good for the country? Because the world will want to make us vulnerable. Too much foreign dependency is not good. And I think, Santosh Mehrotra, my core point is that this is not therefore a political debate. It's a very, it's a far more serious issue, a challenge we all face.
First of all, I want to congratulate you today for, keeping a very even temper, and the debate is actually very good. I have to congratulate you.
Thank you, sir.
I would just want to make 2 points, my friend. The first point is the following, that MSMEs in our country contribute 40% to exports. We just have to keep reminding ourselves of that, and they are the ones who generate the jobs.
True.
And with all due respect, a whole series of policy-induced shocks have led to a reduction in the number of MSMEs, and the exports suffered on account of that. This is the foundational reason why total manufacturing jobs fell. And this is the foundational reason why manufacturing contribution to GVA fell from the 17% prevailing in the previous 25 years to 13%. Therefore, the focus of policy now needs to be, in respect of MSMEs, much more cluster-based development. You already have, strong clusters. 5,500 clusters of manufacturing activity already exist across the country. And the MSME ministry has a cluster development program, but it's not well funded, it is not focused, in terms of providing technology, skills, credit, all at the to all the enterprises at the cluster level. That kind of thing needs to happen. If you started providing skills, get NSDC to provide skills in the 5,500 clusters around here. You will generate jobs for girls, because girls don't want to go to Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata. They want to work in the nearby locations where there are manufacturing jobs available. And they're desperate for jobs, I want to tell you. That's the first thing that I want.
I agree with you on that. Since I'm running short of time, Ashwini...
I'll just make one sentence. One sentence and I will finish, Arnab. Forgive me. I literally won't take more than 2 lines. You see, this is a sectoral policy that I talked about, but it's cross-sectoral because it's 5,000. But you also need to allow your real effective exchange rate to depreciate. We have been very nationalistic in terms of worrying about our rupee dropping to 85, 86, etc.
Yeah, okay.
The real effective exchange rate needs to drop, okay. Then our exports will grow.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you, sir, for that. Dr. Ashwini Mahajan, does it seem, how does it seem to you, sir? Because 20 years back, everything that the Swadeshi Jagran Manch was seen to be, the impression people tried to give, it will take India back. And today, everything that the Swadeshi Jagran Manch is saying, Prime Minister is saying similar things. You are part of a mainstream debate on how to indigenize the Indian economy towards making it more modern and independent. I just wanted your perspective on that as a SJM co-convener.
See, Arnab, if you see, I don't agree with Rajat on this issue, because what I feel is in 2019, India was a different story altogether. Today we are different. At that point of time, we had not shown to the world our digitization experience. We had not shown to the world our defense experience. And even in electronics and telecom, our 5G had not come to that level. Now, with all these experiences in space, in digitization, in payment system, we had shown to the world that our payment system can even counter SWIFT. So they had been saying, oh, we will put sanctions against you. Now, nobody can say that. Last word is showing that it is India's time.
Last word very quickly. Very quickly, last word to Ramesh Sabharwal and Ajay Alok. Ajay?
I'll tell you, we had a very nice academic debate, and all ideas which have come up in the debate is really encouraging. And of course, we all must follow it. But what happens to those sick political mind? After PM gave this clarion call for adopting Swadeshi, look at a tweet from Mr. Manoj Kumar Jha, Rajya Sabha MP. He says, क्या ही कहा जाए? मैसेज देने का ऐसा तरीका न सिर्फ कैजुअल है, बल्कि पूर्वाग्रह से लैस है.
Very bad.
इस बयान ने अपने देश के उत्तर पूर्व की महत्वपूर्ण आबादी को अपनी जद में ले लिया. अपने विश्वविद्यालय में ऐसे पूर्णतः कमेंट भरे रहते हैं. When PM was talking about that small eyes of Ganesh ji, they don't consider Northeast as a part of the country.
Ramesh Sabharwal, please reply. These are your allies.
This is the kind of grey matter we have.
आपके ally हैं ये.
India is one, sir. All states are a part of India, and we struggled with the Britishers, when Britishers
No, Ramesh Sabharwal.
We were not having anything in India.
Ramesh Sabharwal,
हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं था. हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं था.
प्रधानमंत्री ने casual comment नहीं किया.
We appreciate the Prime Minister that he is adopting the policies.
Sir, please, the Prime Minister has made a very deep comment. The Prime Minister...
They are so prejudiced about the Prime Minister.
Okay. In conclusion, I would say the Prime Minister understands the links between geopolitics, strategy, economics, macroeconomics, defense, international affairs, and domestic affairs. The Prime Minister has given us an idea. I think we need to step forward. This has been a great debate. I thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt, with an attempt to put the focus on issues that concern you, I'll be back tomorrow evening. Good night and goodbye.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDA चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला. स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार. MDA चटनी पुदीना मसाला.